Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we decided to do a little test on high balance point shafts versus low balance point shafts. So a lot of people might be kind of scratching their head and going, okay, not really too sure what that means and that type of thing. And you know, hopefully we're going to try and help you guys understand some of the options that are out there for you in terms of gaining the right balance of the club from an overall perspective, because ultimately that's what balance point really is trying to do on the shaft, is trying to, you know, get the right blend between head weight and shaft weight to create the overall balance.
And I think the common parameter that people will know is swing weight.
Yep, exactly.
And so you are going to address that, but there is a difference between balance point and swing weight.
Definitely, and swing weight is obviously, you know, that's the head shaft combined with the grip at a certain length.
Yes.
You know, that's where we're going to get a total picture. But in order of how do we sort of manipulate that swing weight, how do we influence it to go either higher or lower depending on what we're looking to do, we have some options. We have head weight options, we have grip weight options, we have shaft options, and obviously, with the advanced sort of materials being used in shafts nowadays, kind of like, you know, one of the shafts we've chosen today with, you know, Tensei Orange, it's a shaft we've talked about, I think, quite a lot in the channel. You know, you can actually see the little sticker in the back here. It talks about the tungsten that was infused in the pre-preg, which is the graphite. So the tungsten powder that is actually in the butt end of the shaft in order to make the butt end heavy. So, you know, across the 43.5 inches of the shaft, which in the head will play 45. Okay, is a total length golf club. The balance point is up nearer the grip, which makes the club feel head light. Okay, so not a lot of people, you know, kind of request that feel. Most people look to feel where the head is a little bit more.
You had mentioned that Rory and some other players went to this shaft because it allowed them to put extra weight in the head.
And that's the key.
And that's what we're going to talk about.
Yes, so when it comes to high balance point shafts, no one's really looking to do it in order to, you know, make the head weight, you know, light and not feel the head.
No one wants that.
Yeah, we have to know where the head is in our swing. We have to be able to have the awareness of the club face, because ultimately that's how we're going to time our swing and put, you know, club on ball to get the most consistent strike. So what we decided we would do today is take the shaft that we found that had the lowest balance point, so it's very tip heavy. So guys, when it comes to making a shaft tip heavy, we kind of alluded to this a little bit in the graphite iron shaft video about it becomes just a true, like, more mass equals heavier weight story. So, you know, to make something very tip stiff, sure, you want stiffer materials, but you want more material.
And we saw how much material was in the tip of that graphite shaft versus the steel.
The wall thickness was very different.
Significant.
We were able to really show that. So, so we like to use the Acra Tour Z Extreme for that to show a really you know, tip stiff and something that is naturally going to produce a high swing weight, Matt. So when we put this on your head, the G400 Max, we got the Acra Tour Z Extreme to come out to D6.
Yes.
Right? We put the exact same head, put the Tensei Orange on there, and it was D2. So we saw 4 swing weights of difference between two shafts that are both considered by profile to be the same. Definitely, you know, stiffer tipped shafts, but because of the material content, they produce such different balance of golf club.
Which is amazing. And if you had a club built and you didn't have that knowledge, or the builder didn't inform you of that, you could really be in a mess in terms of throwing your swing weight off.
One of my biggest problems in the club fitting industry right now is that club fitters too often don't understand the influence of the components they're putting together for the player. So, you know, we use maybe something you've heard us talk about a little bit in the channel. You know, if someone, you know, chooses to use a Golf Pride Tour Wrap 2G, the second generation version of that, somebody chooses to use the white one over the black one, the white one is heavier because of the dye in the
You
grip.
had mentioned that,
Right.
yeah.
So it's actually a heavier grip. So the color makes a difference to the amount of weight that's in the grip. Therefore, it's going to change the swing weight.
Right.
So things like that matter. So, whether it's changing shafts or grips or heads, we even looked at the shell weight, which is the weight without the actual tungsten weight at the back of LS Tech versus G400 today. And we saw there's quite a difference in shell weight between those two particular heads. So, guys, there's variables in there that really should not be your burden.
No, totally.
That's my burden and the club fitting community's burden to understand those implications for you guys and how we need to make the right blend of head, shaft and grip to create the right balance of a golf club.
Totally, yeah.
Okay, so Matt's going to test those for us today. We're going to hit some with both. Now we're going to do them both at the heavier swing weight.
Right.
All right. So in order to get them both to perform at the heavier swing weight, like we said, the G400 Max with the Acra comes out at D6. The G400 Max with the Tennessee Orange comes out at D2.
Right.
We're going to actually customize the weights on the G400 head. So
this is the weight here that we've been moving around?
Exactly. This little weight at the back here is we have a 7 gram weight difference. We have a 6 gram weight and we have a 13 gram weight.
Right.
And
That's
we're
these
making
two.
that little adjustment. Yeah.
So you had mentioned you built the combination with the Tennessee shaft to be 208 grams in the head weight.
Exactly.
And 201 grams in the total head weight for the Acra in order to
Exactly.
make them actually balance.
To make them the exact same swing weight, that's exactly right, Matt. We went with a 207 gram head weight and a 201 gram head weight. On both those shafts came out to the exact same swing weight. So, having more head weight, you're going to feel the difference when you actually swing these clubs.
For sure, yeah, I would imagine.
You're going to have a different feel and balance, and it will influence the swing. And what's going to be really cool is when we look at the data at the end, let's see what changed.
Yeah.
Because until you test these things, you just don't know what those changes are going to be.
And functionally, we're introducing very few variables at this point. It's basically just the balance point of the shafts. I mean, they're not identical shafts, to be fair.
Yeah.
But both very stiff profile shafts. The main difference, you would say, is the balance point?
Yeah. The main difference, I think, objectively, when both were designed, it was designed for the stronger player who's looking for a little less tip deflection and looking for somebody who loads it a little bit heavier, that type of player. If we look at somebody who uses Tennessee Orange, Tiger, Rory, somebody who uses Tour Z Extreme, Finau's
using it,
guys like that. The extreme profile. Woodland uses it in his fairway woods, so uses the 400 series with the 105 gram weight. So so I think we've got a pretty cool test in our hands.
Yep. So just so everyone's clear, one more time: more weight down here in the Acra shaft.
Yes.
And more weight up here under the hands in the Tennessee
Yeah,
shaft.
That's
so
it. That's the biggest difference between the two.
Let's see what that makes the ball do.
Let's see it. All right, Matt, Great job. Interesting test. I was watching some of the numbers change. I don't know how kind of much you saw them change as you were going along. I know you just try and kind of keep the mind on the job and try not to look at the numbers. But as I was watching, I was getting pretty excited about the changes that I was seeing in some of the parameters. Let's pull up the screen here and look at the difference. So we saw the G400 Max with the Acra shaft perform really nicely, super straight.
Extremely straight, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen you hit it
No,
straighter than that.
it was really straight, yeah. Very happy with that.
But it was excellent. 106, just shy of 162 ball speed, 11.6 launch and a fraction more backspin. We're really not unhappy seeing you with those launch conditions.
We've talked about this before. A little bit of extra spin is going to give you more play or put you in play more often. That's
exactly right.
So we could hit that, 15 yards further with 2,000 spin or something like that?
For sure.
But less control.
My partner in crime here has been working hard in his game this year and trying to really get the driver, which is such a weapon obviously for him with the speed he's got. But really trying to get something that's in play, in the fairways, and get a chance to take advantage of the iron game. Yeah. And in that scenario, I really don't mind seeing you spinning it a little bit more like that in order to just get a couple more fairways out of it.
For sure.
You looked like you could have just hit all day there and not missed a fairway with that combination. Mm-hmm. So happy with those numbers. Then when we went to the Tennessee Orange, I saw a really interesting thing happen and you took quite a significant spike in ball speed.
For sure.
So guys, that was what I was kind of hoping that we were going to be able to show with this.
Yeah.
That we added that 7 grams of weight to the head, and the net return was a little bit more output on the driver. So, I use the hammer analogy. You take the same handle, put a smaller head on the hammer. You're going to get less impact than if you put a bigger mallet on the hammer and hit the nail in. Yeah. Obviously, the heavier one is going to provide more impact.
Exactly. As long as you don't, for some reason, swing them significantly slower.
That's it.
But it's not enough to make someone swing slower.
It wouldn't be enough to make someone swing slower.
Right.
That's for sure. And especially not someone who has the type of swing that you have. Where you're not kind of forcing the swing. It's not a sort of out of sequence golf swing.
Not an aggressive transition kind of thing.
You'd be more of a kind of gravity swinger. You kind of let the club swing nicely around your body, and you're certainly not pulling too hard on it. So a 2 mile an hour pickup in ball speed, Matt, is decent. I mean,
I think so for sure.
It's good. You launched it slightly higher, and you spun it slightly less. So you ended up hitting it a little bit further with Tennessee Orange in that combo.
Yeah.
Which is
interesting. Honestly, shaft to shaft, that's one of the bigger ball flight differences we've actually seen.
Yep.
From a bunch of pretty consistent swings. From my perspective, I thought they were all pretty much the same.
What was your sense from the change of weight?
I felt a lot more. Now, we were chatting in between a bit about what you were trying to almost help me make sense of what I was feeling.
Right.
I definitely felt a lot of weight down at the head with the Acra shaft.
Right.
And I liked it quite a bit. Now, when we went to the Tennessee shaft, for whatever reason, it actually did feel a bit lighter in the head.
Interesting.
Which kind of doesn't make any sense because I know they're the same swing weight.
And that's the thing. So it felt lighter in the head, even though it was actually heavier in the head.
Exactly.
So you increased 7 grams, but didn't feel it.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's weird how that kind of happened. But does that where balance point comes into these things?
Yeah, for sure.
As an extra variable?
Balance point, and we were able to keep it pretty much the same. But your sense of where the weight was, you were able to feel a little bit more.
I felt it up here,
up in the shaft.
And I'm not sure if that might have been also a factor of just. I guess maybe the stiffness of that part of the shaft versus the stiffness of this one. I'm sure there's a couple other little feel things in there, but no doubt different feels.
When it comes to that stuff, there are no right and wrong answers. It's a person's perception is only relative to them. So you take 10 people and give them the same club, and they'll all probably give you a slightly different description on what it feels like to them. So
it's amazing.
Everyone's perception is unique. So if we look over, something that was really interesting to me as well, Matt, is your efficiency went way up with Tennessee Orange. So efficiency, guys, you know, some of you might know efficiency, which is what Foresight Sports, you know, that's what they term as smash factor. So smash factor being the amount of ball speed you have divided by the amount of club speed that you have, and that gives you the smash factor ratio.
Right.
So in actual fact, you swung the Tennessee Orange slightly slower.
And I didn't know that. I figured they'd be almost the same.
Yep.
So slower and 2 miles an hour more ball speed.
So you swung it slightly slower, but you you got a little bit more ball speed out of it. So you were 113 with the Tennessee Orange, 114 with the Acra. And then in terms of the output, you were 163.8 versus 161.8.
It's amazing.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So if we see someone, guys, in trying to kind of, you know, get this into some kind of formula where you can use it as a benefit to yourselves, if there's people out there who are maybe struggling to get their smash factor up a little bit, some of the keys to that would be reduce the loft in your driver. So if you're getting, if your smash is very low, it normally means there's quite a glancing blow off the head. So it normally means there's too much dynamic loft. And the other part to look at is perhaps the head weights are a little bit light. Just while we're on that point, I mean, not to kind of, you know, say one is right and one is wrong, but you know, something I've really noticed this year on a head weight standpoint is the new Callaway Rogue is very light.
It is light,
It's very light. So when we're looking at head weights on the ping stuff, and we've been using 201 and 208.
Yes.
When we pop this guy on,
182. That's a lot.
182. So
why would they do that? Why would they make it so light?
I mean, lighter, I have a bit of a theory on it. I think that the jailbreak provides so much ball speed that they're actually trying to get the club to swing a bit faster by going lighter in the head. And get the output to be exceptionally high, because that's what jailbreak does. It produces massive amounts of ball speed.
So they're saying that they don't need the head weight to produce the ball speed.
So they're going to actually try and get you to swing the club faster and, you know, get fast output, fast ball speed from that faster club head speed, if that makes sense.
It does, in a different way to accomplish essentially the same thing.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you know, maybe what we'll do at the end of this is we'll throw both of those just to give you guys a comparison as to how other heads would perform. Let's pop the Callaway head on both of those shafts and go, okay, you know, in a ping product, the swing weight is D6 on both of the ones we tested.
Right.
On the Callaway, it's probably going to be like, you know, well, if we're looking at that amount of difference, we're probably going to be, you know, in the high C's.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll measure it after, and I'm going to put it in there right now so that everyone can see.
Right.
We don't know what it is yet, but it's going to be lighter for sure, right?
I know.
Yeah, we'll put it in there for you.
So that's how it goes, and then, you know, let's, you know, if we just to give someone, and I'm just off the top of my head, I'm thinking TaylorMade's probably going to be right in between. Should be 190, 197, perfect. Wow. So we've got 182.
Yeah.
We've got 197 on the TaylorMade M3, and then we've got as much as 208 on the ping.
Amazing.
So, guys, these are the variances that you're dealing with out there when you guys are buying drivers. And I find it just so difficult to think how people are going to make good decisions out there based on not doing testing.
This is 100% something I was not aware of whatsoever, as much time as I've spent here. So as a general consumer, there's no way that most people would be tinkering with this kind of thing. But as you say, it should be the club fitter's responsibility to tell you about this and factor it in and use it to influence. I mean, if you could give someone 2 miles an hour ball speed and swing slower,
it's no joke.
Like that's a really cool accomplishment in a fitting.
Yeah, and looking at the variance of head weight like we are here, you know, if you had somebody who came in with one, you know, and a swing weight that wasn't, you know, as appropriate, there could be a way bigger difference in 2 miles an hour. For sure. There's every chance we could see, you know, a ball speed difference of 4 to 5 miles an hour.
Maybe with this guy, for example.
I mean, who knows? I mean, Rogue is certainly a driver that performs very well. The one thing I will say about Rogue that maybe is going to be an influence on this is that we're weighing these without the adapters.
Okay.
Right? So the
tip adapter.
Yeah, exactly. The Callaway adapter definitely weighs more than the ping adapter.
Right.
So that will influence the overall, you know, weight. So I'm sure there'll be some people who are
but
thinking
fair
that.
enough.
But
generally speaking, it is lighter.
the head itself, where the majority of the mass is,
Yep.
and always remember, guys, we don't really want more mass in the hosel.
No.
You know, it's not really what we're looking for.
Yep.
One of the reasons Ping took quite a long time to get into the adjustable head game is because they actually felt that most of the companies out there were using tips that were far too heavy, and they wanted to engineer one that was not only a bit lighter, but was also more aerodynamic from a design standpoint. So, you know, if you look at how sleek the Ping loft sleeve is, the adjustable sleeve, it just looks like a normal club. It looks like a scarf.
You said a bunch of times to me that you think that's pretty much the best one in terms of
Yeah.
a loft sleeve
And, well,
design.
A loft sleeve design it is the best one.
Yeah.
I think TaylorMade and Callaway are make a much bigger difference because obviously TaylorMade you can change face angle by. You can go obviously 4 degrees open, 4 degrees closed to change loft by 2.
Adjustability is so much more.
Is higher, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So maybe that's for another
Yeah.
video, another topic. But just, you know, circling back to this kind of head weight, you know, variance and how that works with the balance of the shafts and grips, you got to know what you're dealing with.
Absolutely.
You know, and fitters, if there's fitters, I know there's fitters who watch these videos,
Yep.
you know, to hear the stuff that we're talking about. You know, guys, when you're
Get one of these,
Get-
those scales.
get a scale. You know, we've actually got our swing weight scale sitting right here, just sitting below the camera. You know, that's the club fitter's toolbox. You got to have the ability to know these things. You know, no guesswork, all measurements, all facts. And know what you're up to when you're changing heads and weights and grips.
Yep, and then compare. Take the best one of
That's
the
it.
two and go from there.
Feedback from the player, feedback from your launch monitor. You know, you're going to be able to really sort of streamline the process and kind of get some very, very accurate results.
It's awesome stuff.
Yeah,
Really
good.
cool.
All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Leave your comments, obviously, as usual. I think this is going to be a one that really stimulates some thought, and I'm sure you guys will have a bunch of questions. We haven't had a chance to get to our last video on iron shafts, graphite versus steel iron shafts.
Yeah, we got some catching up to
We've
do.
got some catching up to do. We were away last week, so we're going to get back into that. Please get involved in this one, and you guys will have a ton of questions. We want to get in and answer as many of those as we can, so leave those comments below.
For sure, yeah.
Excellent. Guys, thanks so much. We'll see you soon.